What if we said that based on the fact that you were watching this video, we could make an accurate judgment about your personality? Let's try it.
Firstly, you're friendly and outgoing, but at times you enjoy some personal time and being away from the noise of the world.
I really relate to this statement.
If, like my good friend here, you thought this statement was accurate, you've just been fooled by the Barnum effect. The Barnum effect is one's tendency to regard something as highly accurate and relating to them personally, even though in reality it's actually quite a vague statement that can be applied to, well, almost everyone.
For instance, take the statements we mentioned earlier. When given these statements, let's say in a personality quiz, people are likely to agree that they match them, despite the fact that many other people also see the exact same statements and believe the same.
We'd like to introduce you to Mary, a 14-year-old girl whose star sign is Aquarius. Mary likes to learn about her character traits through her horoscope. She checks her usual horoscope website and finds Aquarius born are shy and quiet, but on the other hand, they can be eccentric and energetic. But in both cases, they are deep thinkers and highly intellectual people who love helping others. They are able to see without prejudice on both sides, which makes them people who can easily solve problems.
Mary thought, well, that's true, and she felt very happy about herself and goes on the rest of her day. But if you take a closer look at her horoscope, you realize that it basically applies to both ends of the spectrum, quiet and energetic, whereas highly intellectual and love helping people are very vague descriptions that cover a wide range of personalities. Moreover, the horoscope is not tailor-made for Mary. They apply to all Aquarians who believe in horoscopes.
The above example is taken from an actual horoscope site. So why do people believe in such general statements? We think there are two main reasons. Firstly, people are always looking for reasons to feel good about themselves, such as being described as energetic, deep thinkers, and highly intellectual. Those are all compliments. Secondly, people want to feel accepted and recognized. They want to know that they fall into a particular category in society. They want to feel safe. So, how exactly was the Barnum effect proven? Let's introduce you to psychologist Ross Dagner.
In 1947, he conducted an experiment trying to prove its existence. Stagner administered a personality test to a group of personnel managers. After the test, he presented each manager with some feedback. However, and you probably guessed this already, every manager was given the exact same feedback.
To add insult to injury, the so-called feedback had been taken from horoscopes, handwriting analysis, and the like. And here's the thing, when the personnel managers were told to rate the feedback as amazingly accurate, rather good, more right than wrong, about half and half, or almost entirely wrong, practically all of them rated it as amazingly accurate, or rather good, with virtually no one rating it almost entirely wrong. These feedback statements complimented them, saying things that made them feel good about themselves, inclining them to believe them and give positive reviews regarding the feedback.
The next experiment we're going to introduce is one by American psychologist Bertram Forer that was conducted in 1948. It's pretty similar to the demonstration done by Ross Dagner, except the fact that the subjects for Forer's experiments were psychology students.
Psychology students? They would have studied the subject, so surely they wouldn't fall victim to that.
Alas, that was not the case. When they were given the feedback and asked to rate on a scale of 1 to 5, the average evaluation was 4.26.
This experiment has actually been repeated many times, with participants who, arguably, should have been more aware of the Barnum effect. However, the average evaluation remained at approximately 4.2.
So what is it about these situations that make these subjects believe in such general statements?
There are three main factors that come into play. Firstly, and most obviously, the subject has to believe that the assessment is specifically based on them and about them alone.
Secondly, the assessment mainly includes positive traits. A pretty obvious point, since we all like to hear good things about ourselves.
Last, but certainly not least, the person or group giving them the assessment must be someone they consider trustworthy. They don't necessarily have to be any traditional figures of authority. Looking at those three factors, well, it just kind of seems like the people that fall for the Barnum effect are selfish, gullible people who just want to hear good things about themselves.
Wait, is this your way of indirectly insulting me?
My dear friend, I was actually about to say that I don't think that's the case at all. I actually think that beyond being slightly selfish and slightly gullible, people who believe in Barnum's statements just want to better understand themselves. Plus, some of these statements really do apply to everyone, so it's not that it's wrong, it's just that it also applies to the majority of the human population.
Yeah, I mean, the statement's not wrong, it's just not personalized. What I'm trying to get at is, don't believe it just because some personality quiz or some figure of authority told you so. Believe it because it's real, and it actually applies to you. Besides that point, I also think that believing in Barnum statements may actually bring other benefits. For example, if we're talking about how products are marketed, or even personality quizzes, it's possible that people feel a sense of unity when they happen to buy the same product as someone else, or when they get the same result as their friend on a quiz.
In addition, I think it can bring a sense of hope, because some people may not think this way, but for me, I know that seeing positive feedback, such as a teacher's encouraging comment on my report card, makes me feel a lot better about how I'm doing and encourages me to do better. I get that people traditionally look at the Barnum effect as just a marketing ploy, a trick, but, that's not all it is.
I agree, and it's good to realize that the Barnum effect exists and be able to look at some aspects of our world critically sometimes. But sometimes, if your teacher says you've got potential, maybe it's okay to just believe it.